Hello, is this Carson?
Pipebomb Radio, what's up?
Awesome. Just making sure we got the right guy here.
Yes, sir.
How you been, sir? Doing good?
Oh, I'm doing great tonight. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Well, I'm in California, and he's in Louisiana, so I think we're doing really good.
Oh, wow, yeah. Opposite ends of the world, then.
Sort of, but we're all doing good, though. Glad you can join us tonight.
Glad I can be here.
Well, we just got a couple questions. I know Austin's got some questions. I've got some questions, and if we actually get some time, we'll probably take a couple of callers, if that's okay.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah.
All righty, fire away, Austin. If you got some questions, otherwise I can start either way.
I was gonna say, I mean, you're former NWA. Let me see if I butcher this. I always do. North American Heavyweight Champion.
You got it right,
bud. What are you gonna do now? I mean, you're gonna still go after that title again?
I actually have a match for the NWA National Heavyweight title on April 20th in Houston, Texas, at the NWA Houston Super Show. So hopefully I can knock off Damian Wayne and take that national title.
Well, are you planning anytime soon to go, challenge Rob Conway for his NWA? Actually, he's a new NWA Heavyweight Champion. You planning to go after him anytime soon?
Oh, of course. I think every heavyweight in NWA wants what Rob Conway has, and I was actually in the building Saturday night when Rob Conway won that title. It was an amazing feeling, the emotion he had, the emotion the fans had. It was just a great change for this company, and I think our future is very bright right now with Rob Conway as the heavyweight champion.
I can agree with that. Definitely a great superstar. Well, actually, I wanted to ask you. In my case, I'm always curious because every superstar is different in what kind of interest in becoming professional wrestlers, and I always ask them, what in this case I'll ask you the same thing. What interested you in becoming a professional wrestler? Was it something that you grew up watching? Is it something that you fell in love with during the Attitude Era? Is it something that just was instilled in your family? Tell us about it.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm a true fan at heart. I was a little boy watching wrestling. I guess 98, 99, Attitude Era is when I started. I was about 12 years old. And a buddy of mine, said, hey, check it out. And, a lot of the kids would make fun of wrestling and everything. And I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And I fell in love with it from the first day I saw it. I remember saw Chris Jericho in WCW, and then I remember seeing Kurt Angle on WWF, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and these guys. They just captivated me. And since that day I first started, there hadn't been a week that's gone by that I haven't watched wrestling.
So you keep up with all the storylines, huh?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a true fan. It's not something I got into as an adult. It's been in my heart since I was a little boy. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I was in college and I was doing that, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to be one of those old guys who says, what if? What if I did try that? I could have tried that. And here I am living my dream, and life couldn't be any better, guys.
That's awesome, man. So how did you get into it, if you don't mind me asking? Did you just did you go to a school? Did you meet up with a retired wrestler possibly and got trained by him, or how did you get into it?
I was at home and I Googled wrestling training, pro wrestling training, and I found APW in Austin, Texas, which is the America's Academy of Pro Wrestling. And the old man who runs that is George De La Isla, and that's who trained me. Excellent trainer. He used to hang out with Roddy Piper in the Old Territory days in California. So he learned a lot from him, and he brought it over to Austin, and he taught all of us just the great basics. A lot of guys are missing their basics, and they don't know what to go to in a match when they get lost. And that's something I never have to worry about because he crammed it into our heads every day. I remember going to practice and thinking, oh, my gosh, we've done this 20 million times. I don't want to do it again. But now, I have a match, and I thank God every day that George taught us the basics so well because I can have a match with anybody now.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, who were some of your heroes growing up, if you don't mind me asking? You mentioned some other names right now that you were talking about during the Attitude Era. Do you still, were there some superstars that you actually enjoy watching? You obviously follow the WWE. Do you follow TNA, possibly Ring of Honor?
Oh, yeah. I follow TNA all the time. I'm very good friends with Robert E. He lives in Houston, right over here next to me. Mm-hmm. And I think they have an excellent product as well, and I think things are going great for them. Ring of Honor, I don't get to watch it very often. You know, I'll watch clips here and there because my good friend ACH just got signed. I don't know if y'all know ACH.
Oh, yeah, ACH, I love him. It's great.
Yeah, I grew up in wrestling with him. When I first started, he was there, and he's been there every day. Learned a lot from that guy. And but as far as Ring of Honor, I don't get to watch it very often. But my heroes growing up, man, my obvious hero is Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels. Those two guys, I idolize them. I could watch any match they've ever done, even if you say it's the worst match ever, and I'm gonna love it just because my heart's with those guys.
Well, you know, honestly, I don't think Shawn really ever had a horrible match.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I like that attitude.
I mean, anybody, you know, any of the guys that he's ever been in the ring with, if you think about it, guys like Bret Hart, they say his Iron Man match from WrestleMania 12 was probably one of the greatest matches of all time. They say that, you know, and it's hard to argue that. You know, to captivate an audience for over an hour, as they did back then, is no easy task. And you know, being a professional wrestler, you know, you got to go in there and you got to make sure you're getting the crowd into what you're doing and keep them busy for an hour.
It's not easy. We're entertainers, yeah, you're right. And for them to entertain like that, keep people that had already been at a show for 2 hours and keep them for another hour just watching them, it's an amazing feat. And that's why Shawn Michaels is going to be the best of all time until the end of times, in my opinion.
Now, actually, have you gotten to let me rephrase my question. Have you actually, you know, checked out the ideas of when they were doing Tough Enough, and even for that matter, in cases of TNA, they were actually doing, if they're still doing it, correct me if I'm wrong, Austin, the gut check?
Yeah, they're still going some of that stuff.
Would you, I mean, if
whenever
talk to you about that?
Yeah, whenever this last Tough Enough season came around, I got contacted by one of the producers from California, Luke Verge, I think was his name, and we talked about it for a while, and it just wasn't the way Tough Enough has changed into more
it has a lot
of an you know, they worried more about it was almost like watching The Real World or something on MTV. I didn't believe it was all shoot. You know, I believe there's a lot of work going on, and I just told them I wasn't interested at the time, and I think I'd have the same answer today. You know, if they ran it like they did back when Maven and them ran it, when I believed that it was an actual competition.
And it looked much more like it was a competition back then, as opposed to what it was now. There's huge differences back then.
Yeah, and like I said, I felt like I was just watching a reality TV show. And, I mean, Andy won, and what did they do with him? You know, nothing. And then the runner-up, Luke Robinson, they didn't do anything with him. The poor girl who just had the TNA cut check, they didn't do anything with her. She's extremely talented, and, you know, she's a good-looking girl, great size.
And they ended up keeping the one who said her favorite match was Melina against Alicia Fox. Really?
Oh, yeah, I can believe that. But as far as gut check goes, I'm on that list, the bracket thing. I know there's been a lot of hoopla over that, whether anything's rigged or not, because I think one day, like, somebody got 6,000 votes. You know, there was a mishap, and
well, you know, I actually had seen that a former Tough Enough contestant, AJ Kirsch, was actually a part of that as well as Evilise as well. You know, she was on there. So I haven't seen AJ on there, but yeah, you know, as far as those kind of things that they have people vote on online, you never really know, especially in the WWE, if the damn thing is rigged. Excuse my language, but
yeah.
But
I'm getting to the conclusion that everything in life is some sort of work. You know, it's just the type of world we're living in. You know, you got to work everything, it seems like.
So how did you get into the NWA?
I started whenever NWA Houston was formerly World of Wrestling there in Cypress, Texas. I got called in, and I became tag team champions there. And then they were good friends with Ken Taylor, who then owned NWA Southwest, and I became NWA Southwest tag team champion. And WOW turned into NWA Houston, and that's whenever I really got into the NWA, because that's my home base right there. Is right there in Cypress, Texas, at NWA Houston. They gave me a real good push. I got the NWA Lone Star Heavyweight title for I think maybe 2 months, and then I and then they, eventually I worked my way up into the NWA North American Heavyweight title, and that was probably about 2 years ago. Whenever they turned into NWA Houston, I believe so.
So you've been going for a good couple of about 2 to 4 years or so, roughly.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
and
awesome.
And then all these NWA territories have been popping up around Texas, and I have a pretty dominant, storyline at each of those, like NWA Texoma up in Sherman, Texas, which is by Oklahoma, and then we have NWA Resting Revolution, which is in McAllen, Texas, down by the border.
Nice.
We have NWA World Class in Brownsville, which is way down South Texas. NWA Branded Outlaw Wrestling, which is like the flagship show. That's in San Antonio. We have, that's where Rob Conway won the heavyweight title last Saturday.
Yep.
But we've been running strong for about 2 years, yeah.
That's crazy because, I still feel that's what's missing today in the wrestling is the territory days where you guys could actually have more places to travel to. And that, not just saying that, not taking nothing away from how it is now, but honestly, I think the territories today would work a lot better for independent wrestlers. I don't know how you feel about that.
Oh, I feel as if I were wrestling in the territory days, like if we were making money in territories like they were back then, I'd be a rich man right now. Just because
we're doing hella good, hell yeah.
Yeah, because I love working these same storylines, traveling to different little towns and fighting their champion and putting their champion over, things like that. And it's something I pride myself on. And now a lot of people don't take it serious, but I take it extremely serious because there's only two levels. You got independent wrestling, and then you have professional, WWE, TNA wrestling, and we're just a level right under that. And I take it every bit serious.
So at this point in your life, would you say if you go another, we'll just say 10 years, 15 years, and you don't make it to WWE, would you say your career has not been fully accomplished, or would you be okay with retiring by not going?
Oh, I'd be lying.
You know how some people would make it to be all end all if you go to WWE. Of course, it would be awesome, but I guess my question is, would you be disappointed if you never made it?
I definitely would be disappointed. I think you'd be lying if you said you weren't, because the goal of professional wrestling for me is to be one of the best wrestlers in the world and to make extremely good money doing it, because I believe if you're good at anything, you should make money doing it, because money makes the world go around. And
that's for sure.
if in 10 or 15 years, if I was just an independent guy retiring, I'd be happy that I was a professional wrestler and I tried it, but I'd always have that regret of never making it to the big leagues.
Would you be worried that they may change your character completely from what you are now to something that, well, let me give you an example. If they brought you in, got you going, and they got you to be Fandango, that crap, would you be okay with that?
Of course, I think
I don't mean the dog.
No.
His name might feel it.
No, this is great. This is great because Fandango. I'm a huge fan of Johnny Curtis Fandango. I think it's excellent. I am a professional wrestler who is still a fan, but not as much as a fan as I used to be. And they're working that gimmick so well that I get angry at my television whenever he does not wrestle, because I'm ready to see him work. I want to see what the character's like. And if they're working me, then I hope they're working everybody else. And if they change my character, I could care less. It's a job with the best company in the world,
That's a great attitude to have, man.
Look at Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was a caddy for Chavo Guerrero, and then he was a male cheerleader, and now look at him. He has money in the bank, and they're probably going to give him the world title soon.
But he's also a hell of a worker too.
You do what they say. You do what they say because they're the best company in the world. You don't go in saying I'm going to do what I want. Otherwise, you're not going to do anything that you want. So I'm very open-minded, and I would love just to work for one of the best companies in the world.
That's a great attitude, man. I definitely, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was saying a few months ago, like 2 months ago, I think, when you were at the Elite Wrestling show, was the first time I actually seen you wrestle live, and you walked out. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy is a monster. I don't even know why he's not in WTNA right now. Because you look like, you look like a superstar.
Oh, I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, I pride myself on always looking the part. I think, as everybody says, not everybody needs a great body in wrestling, And that's true, but 90% of professional wrestling is looking like an athlete. I understand you have your gimmicks, but look, monsters like Undertaker and Kane even look like they go to the gym. I just feel like it's professional wrestling. And I really appreciated that, you said I look like a superstar because I go to the gym every day. I tan as often as I can. I make sure that my hair is always right because at the end of the day, I'm a wrestling superstar, and I want to be a superstar to these fans. I don't want to just be a guy that they can see in Walmart every day.
Well, nothing against going to Walmart or anything, but,
Oh, I shop at Walmart, but I don't. If you see me in Walmart, I want you to say, that guy has to be somebody. And that's what I pride myself on. I never want to be a normal person. And that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's one of his famous slogans, the worst thing that could ever happen to him is that he could be a normal person and live a normal life. And that's one of my mottos.
Interesting. Now, with the announcement of wrestling legend Bruno Sammartino being put into not only the Wrestling Hall of Fame, but the WWE Hall of Fame as well, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I think it's excellent. Yeah, I mean, obviously I didn't grow up watching him, but when I study my old tapes, I see his legacy and what he's done for professional wrestling, and I think it's amazing that they're honoring him. And not only that they're honoring him, but they chose Madison Square Garden, his home territory that he made history in so many times. I think it's great.
Awesome. Well, you know what? We're going to take a quick break here real quick, and we'll just be taking a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment. And if we got any more questions, we'll fire them away. If not, we'll definitely be taking some calls. Be back in just a moment, guys. Hang in there.
Next week on Pipebomb Radio will be huge. The night wrestling fan from Britain will be invading the show. On Tuesday, March 26th, we bring on British wrestling legend Ricky Knight. And then the following Saturday, Zach Knight will also be joining us. Both shows will begin at the same time, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. West Coast, and of course 11 p.m. UK time. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, everybody, to Pipebomb Radio. And we're going to go ahead and bring on wrestling superstar Carson. Let's go ahead and get him going. Welcome back, guys.
What's up, guys?
All right. Now, growing up, as far as like the wrestling legends, have you actually gotten to meet any wrestling legends that have passed through your territory? And if so, did you ever ask them for particular advice about success in the business? And what kind of response did you get, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh yeah, I worked with Jake the Snake. We did a funny gimmick intermission, a DDT challenge where I let him DDT me, and I said I could stand up before the count of 10. If not, he could whip me 3 times with the paddle in the middle of the ring. But if I did make it to the 10 count, he'd have to kiss my ass. And whenever I was getting up at the 9 count, I gave out again, and I fell back down out of the ring. And so he got to whip me with this paddle. And let me tell you, that is the worst pain I've ever had in my professional wrestling career. No lie. I've been slammed on concrete, and I've done all kinds of stuff. And that paddle hitting my ass was the sharpest pain I've felt.
That is freaking awesome. That is so
I'll
cool.
always remember that story with Jake. But Jake helped me so much. He told me, he was one of the guys that never really had a body in wrestling, but he told me how important it is now to have a body and that I'm doing great and I'm on the right track. And a cool thing is he gave me that paddle he whipped me with, just gave it to me, and so that's something I'm going to cherish for forever right there. Cause
did he at least autograph it for you too?
No, I didn't have it autographed, but I have our film on footage, so that's better than an autograph.
Yes, it is.
And I've worked with Raven, and he taught me so many great things, critiques in the ring after the match, and I was wearing hair in a ponytail all the time at that stage, and he told me, he was like, man, you have beautiful hair. Whenever you wear a ponytail, anybody can wear a ponytail. A guy on the street can wear a ponytail. Nobody wears their hair down and wet. That makes you look like a real superstar. And I can give all the credit to Raven. That's why every match now I wear my hair down and wet.
You definitely got advice from 2 of the greatest wrestling minds that I've known, at least for this generation, and obviously the past generation as well. With Jake, he's always been one of my favorite guys on the stick because he knew his philosophy was you speak softly and you can still get your point across because your actions would speak more in the ring than just, I'm going to kick your ass in this and this. And He never spoke loud. He never screamed. And that's what I loved about him. He had such awesome ring psychology.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Totally agree.
And then Raven, when he came in with the I believe it was Scotty Flamingo. Can't remember if that was it. Or Johnny Polo. I'm sorry. Johnny Polo. Can't remember who it was. But, yeah, it was Johnny Polo with the Mounties, or with the Quebecers, excuse me. Way back when. I'm aging myself already. But, and then to see him years later come out as a Raven character, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
What happened? But, maybe they were letting him be himself, and that's what happened. I think that's what got him to take off in his character.
Yeah, what did he have, a denim jacket with neon colors sewed onto it, something like that, back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah, he was telling me stories about that. Yeah, he said he tried to get a different jacket for every week. And he said that's something else that's important, just little things like that to bring out with you to the ring, just to make people remember you by, just makes you look more like a superstar when you wear something to the ring.
Very cool, very cool. Now, it's hard to nail down just one particular moment in time, but I'd like for you to, maybe if you can remember, maybe a classic moment in wrestling history that stood out to you that you may still watch from time to time on YouTube or even on DVD or those ancient VHS tapes, we had way back when,
Yeah. Well, with me, I'm not a very old guy. I'm 25, so, my stuff isn't going to come from, the 70s or 80s or probably even the 90s, really. But, probably my favorite moment ever in wrestling was at Vengeance 2001 when Chris Jericho won the Undisputed titles. That's the first time they combined the WCW and the WWF title. That's something I could watch over and over. One, because I idolize Jericho, and two, it is a historic moment in wrestling. And,
he loves to tell everybody he beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night.
In the same night. He'll repeat it.
Yeah, that's definitely a great moment. And, it doesn't necessarily mean that you depending on how old you are as far as, because I'm only, I'm about, I don't want to age myself, but I grew up in the 80s watching back in the old golden era of professional wrestling, guys like Hogan and Savage and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Did you ever get a chance to meet that guy?
No, I have not met him.
I'm surprised he is still wrestling after, anyways, that's another story. But, guys like, the old dudes that were still wrestling, that are still wrestling still today, and I know a lot of them are on the territories, and even guys like the New Age Outlaws, like Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn. Yeah, I just worked with Billy Gunn about 4 or 5 months ago, 2 weeks before he got signed back to train there at FCW. Great guy. Yeah,
he's definitely another one that you can pick the brain of as well, and I'm pretty sure you enjoyed your time with him.
Yeah, 2 guys, Rock and Roll Express, they...
that's even better right there.
Yeah, whenever I'm in Arkansas, they're always around. Ricky Morton, man, what can you say about him? Hilarious guy.
I've heard stories that he's definitely a guy to learn from and definitely a good storyteller as well.
Oh, yeah, he's so simple in the ring, but, it works. He's still wrestling, so obviously it's worked.
Hey, Austin, you still around there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah,
where are you at?
Around, I was interested. I'm like, this is a really good interview.
You're just listening to the stories we're telling here.
Yeah, I'm updated.
Did you have any questions, man?
Yeah, I was going to say, Kurt Angle, he says that he's going to be wrestling till he's 40-something, 45 years old. How long do you plan on wrestling?
I'm going to wrestle as long as I can, as long as I have the ability to go out there and keep everybody safe and not look like a sad thing going out there, because, at the end of the day, there's nothing else I want to do. I don't have a plan B. I don't have anything I do on the side. Wrestling is my life. If I'm not traveling to a show, I'm at the gym, or with Barbie Hayden, my wife, which she wrestles too, so all we do is wrestling.
Nice. Nice. Keep it in the family. I like that.
Yeah, and if I were to give you a certain age, I'd be lying, because I don't know a certain age. I want to do it as long as I can, though.
And it's just about hanging in there and wrestling as long as you can without hurting yourself, or just going as long as you can, if anything, as long as the good Lord will let you.
Exactly. Yeah. As long as we're keeping everybody safe.
There you go. You know what? I do have a caller who's been waiting patiently on the phone, and if you're okay, we'll definitely take that call if you have any questions. Is that cool?
Oh, yeah, let me talk to him.
All right, let's bring him on. Hello, you're on the air with wrestling superstar Carson. Do you have any questions for him? Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Yeah, they're there. I heard him.
Oh, can you hear him? I can't hear him.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Did you have a question?
Yeah. So, Carson, what do you think about this Friday at NWA Resting Revolution Theater of Pain? You know you're going to walk out with that championship.
Oh, man. It's are you a fan that goes to that show?
Oh, actually, no. I'm actually one of the wrestlers there.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, well, I've been there twice, and I've fought their champion for the belt twice. And the first time I lost by countout, he ran away. And the second time, my head hit an exposed turnbuckle, and then he rolled me up, and he had a hold of my tights. So I haven't really lost to this guy. And let's just say this Friday, I definitely have a vengeance, and I got to get this guy because I requested a no DQ match. So since he wants to do whatever he wants to do in the match, it looks like I can do whatever I want in the match, and I think the odds are in my favor there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that match.
Me too, man. Thanks for the call.
Yeah,
not a problem, man. Thank you for calling. Alrighty, well, that was cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a good. That NWA show in McAllen is awesome. They're at a old theater right off one of the main streets, and that crowd is so wild. I don't have another town that I go to where the women are more crazy about me. Like they shrill the entire time, and talking about an adrenaline rush when all these women are screaming over you.
Watch it now. Yeah, that's true. They may try to go in the ring and try to attack you now.
Yeah, it is a no DQ match on Friday.
That's true. You might have to bring your wife out there with you and have her keep guard, make sure you keep the women out there.
Yeah. Have a manager that night.
Does she actually manage too, or is she an actual wrestler, or how does that work?
She's both. She trained with me every single day I trained, and we graduated from that school at the exact same week. Yep, she's actually signed to Women of Wrestling out of Vegas, which is formerly Glow on ESPN.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she is the NWA Houston Women's Champion, and
Rock
she
on.
is the NWA Texoma Women's Champion. She wrestles this weekend. She's in Rhode Island. Last weekend she was in Memphis for Magnificent Ladies of Wrestling. She just did a tour in Monterrey, Mexico a few weeks ago. So she's amazing, man. Be looking for her on national television real soon.
Very cool, very cool. That is actually very exciting because, you guys actually can travel together on certain times, or even you can go with her to check out her shows or vice versa. That's very cool.
Oh, yeah. We do a lot of package options for promotion. We both come in, and if they don't have somebody for her to work, she's my manager, and she's damn good at it, man. And if we can both wrestle, then that's even better. And like you said, it's very nice traveling with her most of the time. But lately, we've been going our different directions, but we have a great home life together during the week.
That's cool. Now, the art of managing is like it's an art that's almost dead. If you actually had the chance to be managed by a wrestling legend, manager, past, present, future, whatever, we'll just say past in this case, because everybody now there's nobody really. Who would you want to have been managed by, and why?
Well, I want to pay tribute right now to our good friend that just passed away, Bill Moody, Percy Pringle, Paul Bearer.
Nice.
I had the honor of meeting and talking with him in Louisiana a few months before he passed, and that guy right there, has to be one of the best managers in the world, in history. He knew exactly what to do, and he made you believe when he was Paul Bearer that he was a psycho. You never felt like you were watching an act. You felt like that was who that man was. He was great at what he did. Oh,
believe me, when I watched him when he first debuted back in '91, I believed. I definitely believed until I obviously got older and realized what it was, and I still had an appreciation for what it was, the art of what you guys do. And even for the managers, they go out there and they make their guys look good, and they do a hell of a job. And
oh man, yeah, props to Bill Moody. They can be anything.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, they can. they can help heels win and get a crowd so mad, and you can be like Miss Elizabeth and just be neutral and just make Macho Man look even better. You can be like Paul Bearer and just bring so much of a theatric to the match.
Did you ever watch his days of when he was Percy Pringle back in the old World Class Championship Wrestling days?
Yeah, I've seen a few things on YouTube when I do my studying. He's so funny.
He was definitely one of a kind. That goes to show you. And he always said that during his Percy Pringle days, he always tried to model himself after another legendary manager, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yes.
And I don't know if you knew that or not, but if people go onto his website, that's definitely a good way to find out some stuff about him that they may or may not already know.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah,
that's so cool that you got to meet him. That's that was going to lead to my final question of the night in this case, and concerning Mr. Moody is how do you feel that the WWE did their tribute? Do you feel it was very respectful? Do you think it was well done? And considering that his sons were actually there in the arena watching that night.
Oh, I think they did it just right, because I think he would have wanted it. Of course, I love that they paid tribute, and I think he would have wanted the storyline that they went with CM Punk disrespecting the urn, and a lot of people say I don't think Bill would have wanted this because we're kind of spitting at his death. Too, so. Yeah, and I don't think anybody's spitting at his death. I think it's just we're taking his legend back to WrestleMania, because even though he's passed away, he's still with us during the storyline. And I anybody who has a bad taste in their mouth about it, I don't think is really thinking of what he would have wanted.
That's very true. That's a heck of a point. And you're right about the fact that not many people realize that. And yes, if you're looking at it for the first time and you see that, okay, you're going to naturally be disgusted. But if you don't know what wrestling is about, what the stories are about, and how they get the point across, they did something similar to that with Eddie Guerrero when he passed years back, and they got the same feeling. Well, you got to stop and think. They would have wanted the show to go on.
Of course,
and that's what's going on.
Anybody would say that if you passed away and you were doing something, if you were a famous person, you passed away, you would love for people to still talk about you all the time and use you in storylines. I mean, for you to say you wouldn't want that, you'd be crazy. And I think what they're doing is honoring him right now, and just bringing like the kids now who don't know who he is. They're getting to see what it's all about.
Absolutely. And that's a great choice as a manager. I'm definitely sure that if in his prime, he would have definitely taken you to places you've never been, and probably had you being a superstar right now. And not saying nothing against that you're not, because you definitely are. But he would have taken you out way beyond, no doubt.
Oh, of course, man. Yeah, these guys with so much knowledge, you can only prosper from them.
Well, on my half, that is my last question. Actually, you know what? I think we may have another caller. You want to take another call?
Sure.
Let's go for it. Why not? Let's see how this goes.
All right.
Hello, you're on the line with wrestling superstar Carson. Did you have a question for him?
Hi, can y'all hear me?
We can hear you good. Go for it.
Yes, sir.
But just a few things. So, I don't know if he really would have liked if the show would have, a lot of guys pass away, but we never know if they really would have liked for the show to go on. So it's kind of hard to say if that's true or not,
That's a very good point.
But other than that, I got a question for Carson.
Please go ahead.
What is do you have any good friends or friends in wrestling?
Yeah, I have a good friend who does horrible impressions. He calls into radio shows, and his name is Ricky Starks, and he's from Texas, and he's actually doing an impression phone call right now. That's how I know we're good friends, because I know he's doing this prank call.
Yeah, very, very good there. Very good there, buddy.
Nice.
But on a note here, while we have Ricky Starks on the line, Ricky Starks trained at the same place that me and Barbie Hayden trained at. He's a great talent. He's a young Dwayne Johnson. He works just like him, looks a lot like him. Nobody knows what race he is, if he's black, white, red bone, Indian, Hispanic, Cocker Spaniel. Nobody knows.
I can relate to everyone.
But he's a great dude, and one of my best friends in wrestling.
Very cool. Had me fooled thinking he was an elderly woman calling in.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was. I thought we had an Thought we had an old black woman calling. All right. Well, I'm glad that happened. That was funny.
That definitely lightened the mood here, and I think we lost him already, but that's okay. He made it. Right. He actually got his point across because we're all laughing right now. So. Yeah. See, that's a great thing about Ricky Starks. Whenever I have the spotlight on me, that's my little protege. He jumps in to share it with me, and this was Pipebomb Radio with Carson and his managing radio helper, Ricky Starks. That works. That works.
That is
all right. Well, you know what, Austin? Did you have any final questions for Carson?
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing. I mean, you're in the NWA right now. There's WWE, there's TNA, there's ROH. How do you go about actually, making your dream, furthermore come true as, becoming a superstar wrestler in WWE or TNA? How do you go about doing that?
Right now, I'm working as many shows as possible, getting as much experience as I can, learning from as many people as I can. I go to the gym every day I can to keep myself in top physical condition. And every opportunity that gets thrown at me, whether it's to meet somebody who has connections or whether it's to do a tryout, I'm right there doing it. And I'm not taking any steps back. It's just steps forward, from here on out, and that's how it's been for the past 5 years. And so let's just pray that this is meant for me and that before too long, all of you guys will see me on national television.
Oh, I have no doubt.
I honestly think you will be on in no time soon. Like, first time you step out of that curtain, I turned to my guy, AJ Tron, the left of me. I'm like, Jesus Christ. The dude, I don't even know why he is in WWE or TNA because you look like a superstar. You are what people want to see.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, Austin. Thank you very much. It means a lot, buddy.
He's actually considering a road in professional wrestling. Is there any advice you'd like to offer to Austin?
Man, just, keep your mouth shut and your ears open. Go train with somebody who knows what they're doing. And just, like you said, I looked the part. Just make sure you look the part.
Will do, definitely.
All right, Austin. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. You know what, Carson? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we've definitely been great just talking wrestling, just being wrestling fans that we all are, and the fact that we actually are talking to a person who's been in it, who's learned from some of the best, who definitely is still young and has this, has the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, however long he chooses to be in wrestling ahead of him. And you know what? Before long, as Austin said, I wouldn't have any doubt that we might see you on TNA or even WWE television, kicking some ass, taking some names, becoming a world champion someday. In their respective companies, that is.
Well, thank you very much. I had a great time, guys.
Yeah, we did too, definitely. And hopefully maybe somewhere down the line we'll bring you back on and see what you're up to. Is that cool?
Oh, I'd love to, man.
All right. Well, you know what? You have yourself a great night. And again, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night too. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.